clicking all the last buttons here before we go live, and I'll be practicing down there. Today's practice is all about those of us that get a little tight in our hips, so it's very common for that to happen. So feel free to go and grab your mat and your block and get yourself ready, and I'll be with you in very, very short time. I'm just getting the last little couple of buttons pressed here and popping things up on the Apple TV so I can see where they all are, and hitting go live here, and then that's it. Let's see what this one looks like. I think you need to move a little bit over here, TikTok, and I'm just going to do a little scooch there. Okay, yeah, that looks good. Okay. So thanks for joining me. Today's practice is more focused on those of us that get a little tight in the hips. And look, it's incredibly common to have tightness in our hips. Our general lives now are spent for far too long sitting or being sedentary. So these are a couple of yoga stretches, yoga poses that can help you with the area around the hips, the glutes, and also that area into our low back. So the encouragement would be to have some props. I've got a bolster here, I've got a pillow, I'm sitting on a blanket, and I have some cushions. And find your way now to lie down on your back as though you're about to set up for bridge pose. So the back lands down on the mat. You might have your blanket underneath you. And this is a class that's going to be completely focused for about 15 minutes on our hips. So please don't worry if you think you're going to have to get active, even if you're still in your pajamas. It's totally fine. With the feet as they are, draw your right knee in towards you and give it a squeeze first. So just hug that knee in nice and firmly. So to the level and expression that creates some deep sensation for you. And maybe a couple of lovely big sighs out of the mouth. Perhaps you're like me and it's early morning in Australian time, so I've been up for a while, but today's class is at 8:30, so it's early-ish. And that hug in now turns into our figure 4 shape. So you cross the ankle over the left thigh because we drew the right knee in first. And it's more or less a figure 4 shape it creates here. So I like to encourage you just to find a moment here, just to cactus the arms so that you can rest the spine and the pelvis and the sacroiliac joints and everything along the back body just down into the mat. Just let the shape happen first. Let the body recalibrate in this shape before we start to add some dimension of stress to the hips by lifting the torso. And perhaps the first option for some of you is to reach for the back of the thigh, or for others you could reach for the left shin. And I often notice students that have got their heads lifted here and there's this cranking in the neck and their chin's jutting out and they're really pulling the whole combination in towards them. Well, if you're doing that, you want to ease that tension. So you could take a pillow or something behind the back of your head so that you've lifted the back of the head. And then you can find that reach for that left shin. And that might feel a little more comfortable across the back of your neck. Because, again, that's an area in our body where we do gather a little bit of tension. There's a little bit of vulnerability there. So you've either got the shin of the left leg or the back of the thigh, and you're drawing it in. So you're starting to explore the depth of which you can draw the combination of the figure 4 towards you. For some of you, it's a very big hug in and really deep sensation because you really like to stretch through the piriformis muscle and its vociferous nature. It's quite a determined little stout muscle that's deep in the connective tissue of the hip. So for others, you may even find you're able to keep your left hand on your left shin, and you use your right hand to press the right thigh, rolling it away from you, and you just sort of create an added dimension to this whole expression of the stretch. So if you're just joining me, I'm offering up a few stretches today for those of us that are sedentary for a lot of our lives. We sit in chairs for work, we sit in the commute to work in the car, and these are just really accessible, really enjoyable stretches for the body and the variations I'm showing you. So I've intensified this here. One other option you can try is drawing the toes back towards the shin. That could help just even intensify the sensation in the right hip. So just staying here for another breath or two. And then with the arms cactus back on the earth, let the combination of the legs return back to where they were. And then let it all tip over to the left. So the right foot lowers to the left. And this is a beautiful little opener through the back of the base of the spine, I should beg your pardon, and just into that area around the lower back. And you might even like the head to roll in the opposite direction. So in this case, it'll roll to the right. And it's this corkscrew effect through the torso that I also like about this stretch. It just gives you this really nice cleansing approach to the spine, you know, just rinsing out the stickiness, rinsing out the gooiness, and letting yourself feel really empowered to move through your day. Because, of course, the hip joints are so dynamic in our day-to-day movement as well, getting about, taking us from place to place. So that'll be enough for this side. I'm going to balance it out on the other side. So if you didn't join me from the start last time, you can join me now. So just uncross the legs, let the right foot return onto the mat, as though we're setting up for our bridge pose. The first part was just to draw the knee in. So I'm going to draw my left knee in this time, which is the opposite knee to the one I did last time. And you start to hug that into the expression that serves you, whether that's a really deep and profound hug in, or whether you're just sort of holding it there, just giving it a little bit of compression. And then from this expression, take it into your figure four shape. So cross the ankle over the right thigh this time, and then just cactus the arms. So get the arms out of the way. Prevent them from doing anything here, and just let the whole back body rest down into the mat. And as you start to feel into the shape and let the body just recalibrate here, just take a deep breath. And then we start to lift the upper body. As you look towards the legs, you want to either hold the back of the right thigh or reach all the way for the right shin. And as I said on the other side, I often see students really like, kind of jutting the chin out and exaggerating through the back of the neck. So just feel free to place something behind the back of the head. I've got a lovely little pillow there just to help elevate the back of the head and give it some comfort, because where we want to create the sensation here is in all of the tissues of the left hip socket, the connective tissues of the joints that allow for the movement of the leg. And so you're navigating the expression here. You're drawing it in as much as you need, whether that's from the shin, because you've got the architecture in your body that allows you to hold the shin with your hands, or whether you've had to hold the back of your thigh. That's totally fine as well. Now, if you are fortunate enough to be able to hold the shin with your right hand and use your left hand to help roll the left thigh away from you, you get like a push-pull effect here. You're drawing the right leg in and you're pressing the left leg away. And it really creates dynamism in the stretch expression. And it allows for that deep hydration of the tissues. And all of that is beneficial. Beneficial for us to feel more fluid, more capable of movement, keeping the joints nimble and prepared for those moments when they have to be responsive to stress, to fatigue, to slips, to all sorts of different things. And so you're just staying for another moment or two. before you let go of the legs, and then cactus your arms to get them out of the way, and allow the whole combination to fall over to the right this time. So the left foot comes to the right, and it's called twisted pigeon. So you're sort of tipping the whole combination of your legs to the right, and then you can really think about that rinsey cleansing effect along the spine as the pelvis tilts to the right and the chest tilts to the left, and the head might even roll to the left. And you can really imagine that corkscrew going through the spine. Energetically, very powerful. Nice. Now just take a moment to come back to your center, uncross the legs, and then roll onto your favorite side in a fetal position. Actually, let's all roll onto our left side, so we're all on the same side. So rolling onto your left side in a fetal position. And then slowly start to press your way up, but keep the legs kind of stacked on top of each other, because I'm going to set you up for deer pose. So with the legs stacked on each other, your left leg will be underneath and the right leg will be on top. You simply press the right leg away from you, around to the right side of your body. And what you've got now is external rotation of the left leg and internal rotation of the right leg. You can think of some alignment cues, like, is it about a 90-degree angle at my front knee and my front ankle? And is it about a 90-degree angle at my back knee and back ankle? And this is where your props can come in handy. So luckily my bolster was relatively close, and I'm going to take it over to my left hip, so the one with the externally rotated leg, placing another pillow there, and I'm going to rotate my chest so that I can roll down onto the pillow and the bolster. And that's again another expression of really twisty rinsing through the spine, and we get some lower back release here. And you are also getting that really dynamic skew-ifness in the legs. So when we think about how the legs are internally and externally rotated, there's asymmetry there. So deer pose is a wonderful pose for holding, perhaps for as long as you wish. It's a really lovely alternative to our sleeping swan in our yin yoga, or our half pigeon in our active yoga, as it's very accessible. It's also really, really available for a long, juicy hold. So you could do this for quite a while. Deer pose is very, very beneficial. And another option could be to roll the head. So as I said, I'm on my left hip with the left leg forward at the external rotation. And you could rotate the head to look to the left. And then you get this whole massive corkscrew of chain of energy through from the pelvis, through the spine, through the thoracic, through the cervical, and you just get this lovely hydration in all of our tissues along the spine. So as you're coming back to center, lifting yourself up and sliding your bolster away from you, I'm just going to rotate around. So you would look something like this. So let's just take the hands back behind us, step the feet wide, so that we can just get some movement in the hips, because that's the area we're targeting. So just move the hips, knees from side to side. And this is what I like to do here. I just like to take the knees over to the opposite side. So just drop them to the right. And then we return back to that expression of external rotation in the right thigh, and that means that you're seeing the inside of the right leg in front of you. And when you've got the internal rotation of the left thigh, you can see the outside edge of the left leg there. Now my bolster and props are on the other side of my body, so I could have done that a little better by grabbing them earlier, but I'm just going to lift it up and place it at my right hip. And so for here, you've got your 90-90 angles, you've got this lovely proud chest, and then you get that rotation through the torso, and we're rolling down the bolster and the pillow, and we're lying to the right side of our body and our mat. And so here we're getting a really, really accessible stretch, a really, really accessible alternative to half pigeon in our active yoga, or sleeping swan in our yin yoga, and something you can actually hold for a significant amount of time. You can up skillet in the sense of pressing down through the outer right knee if your right leg is forward, and the inner left knee if the left leg is the one at the back, and you just alternate that when you move to the other side. I just got a lovely release across the front of the left hip. I felt it like a nice little jolt of just opening up through the front of the hip flexors as well. So remembering that the target area is a very poor expression in these yoga poses where we say, oh, you should only feel it here. Well, that's nonsense, because for a lot of us, we feel it in many different spaces and places in our body. And so just to explore that level of self-inquiry, it's so valuable for your own personal practice. So as you're coming back up, we'll return back to face the front of your mat. Your feet are wide, your knees are open, and you just do another little like windscreen wiper side to side, right? And then the final pose here, just to get some movement in the pelvis, will be to hold the soles of your feet as they come to touch out in front of you. Remembering your feet are where we walk around on all day, so why not wake them up with a lovely little expression with your thumbs. Give it a little dig into the soles of your feet and just give yourself a bit of palpation and just allowing the energy to wake up across the soles of the feet. And then as you hold the feet, lift the chest and do some little butterfly wing flaps. And that's going to be a lovely preparation for the rest of your day as well. So as I said, these are very short videos. It's another 15-minute video. They're aimed at just education. They're not necessarily a whole class. I'm looking at ways to enable us to learn something about our body, as well as preparing us for navigating our busy lives. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed, and please send me a message if you'd like a certain part of the body to be stretched and enabled through our yoga poses to help create some fluidity and vibrancy. But thanks for that, and I'll see you again real soon tomorrow morning. I think it's an early start, but yeah, that's great. Thanks very much, everybody, and I'll see you again real soon. Bye for now. Lots of videos to end here. Thank you on TikTok. Always